if you use Google tools, so their entire suite of tools, so docs and sheets and slides and forms and all those kinds of things like that, I've got a productivity, a time-saving tip for you that's, hey, time-saving. It's great. So this works with Google Sheets, let's get in order. Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Forms. All right, so here's what you do. Instead of going in, typing in drive.google.com or going to your Gmail and clicking the little 9 buttons at the top to get to something, what you do is you simply, in your browser window, type sheets.new, slides.new, docs.new, forms.new. Let me show you how this works. Okay. All right. So if I'm just in there and I type in docs.new, here's what happens. It opens up Google Docs, creates a brand new blank doc for me. Okay. Works the same for sheets.new, which gives you a new spreadsheet. It works the same for slides.new, which gives you a new presentation. And it works for forms.new, which gives you the ability to create a new survey or something like that. So let's do this. Let's go back to docs.new. So I'm going to show you here a quick tip that I've learned, which is always include the search terms in the document that you do. So let's do this. Go back to this document. Let's just imagine for a moment that I regularly do this. When I'm on somebody's website that's a potentially competitor or something like that, I have a competitive tracking subdirectory. That's what it's called. Competitive tracking subdirectory. And I'll just take notes of the things that I see on their site. And so let's just say that the site is bubblegum.com competitive. One of the things I discovered is I just cannot seem to either do math or type well when I'm in front of an audience. Okay, so if I set this as my title, if I just do this, I just go like this, I come up here to untitled document and click on it. What it does is it puts this title in that title. So if I go across, it didn't do it. This is really odd because it always does it. So I'm going to hit rename, and what it does is it should put the entire title in there. Okay, well, trust me, it does. Google's having a bad day right now. So normally if you block something and then click up here, what it does is it puts that name up there. Let's try it one more time. Rename. It's for some reason not doing it. Oh, that's because I've got this period in here. Okay, let's do it this way. One more time. So block it, click there. There we go. That's the way it should work. All right. So it puts the title up there in the top, or you can obviously cut and paste it into that title block. Okay. So here's the thing that I want to point out to you. So let's say I'm taking notes about that site. So I put in a bunch of different things about it. So I put it in number of pages. I put in keywords, estimated traffic, focus, description, those kinds of things into this. Now, here's the point I want to make to you as you do this. Notice that I didn't write just bubblegum.com and then go off and put this in my competitive tracking formula. I actually wrote the words competitive tracking. Why? Because what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to type into Google's Drive search the words competitive tracking and see all the different sites, all the different pages, all my different competitors, anyone who I've done competitive tracking on, I want it all to show up there. Here's the thing. Normally, if I don't do this, here's what I have is I have a document with a whole bunch of competitive tracking information in it, but that document doesn't contain the words competitive tracking in anywhere. Well, right now it's in the title, but if I didn't have that in the title, by putting it actually into the document, that gives me the ability to search on it later on and actually find it. So if you're like me and have tens of thousands of documents all in my Google folder, I need to be able to have a little bit more information in the text of that document to be able to find that document later on. So my point here is not only is it good to use docs.new and things like that to start them, but also put the keywords that you want. And sometimes the way I do this is all the way down the bottom, I'll put in tags, and then I'll just start talking about things that may not be in the rest of the document that I may search on at some point in the future. And so I just put in different words down there so that they're now in the document so they can be searched for. Let me show you the other key thing. So when you do docs.new, now it's basically created a doc just in your main folder. So it's the equivalent of just having everything in the world living on your desktop on your computer. And so when you get done working with it, or early on in the process, as soon as you've written in some words in it, just come up here and click File, Move. Click on that, and it's going to give you a bunch of different things here. And then you can come down and you can say, okay, I want this to go in competitive tracking, and say Move. So what it's just done is it put that item into my competitive tracking folder. So this is the equivalent of your hard drive putting things into subdirectories on your hard drive. You're just doing it within Google Drive. I strongly suggest you do that. The search function on Google Drive is amazing, but it also helps to have things organized in subdirectories in the Google suite of tools, so that Google Drive, so you can be able to find all the things related to that at some point in the future, or maybe do things like share an entire directory with the new virtual assistant that you're going to have work on this project or whatever. And so the two rules. Number one is use your docs.new kind of tool to get it. And then as soon as you write a few words, I like to just write the title, stick it up in the title line up at the top. So I write the title, I then put it up here in the title line at the top, and then I just go to File, Move, and put it where I want it to go. Okay. And so I just do that immediately. So it's filed where it needs to be. And then any changes I make to it are just there. Okay. So a couple of tips about this process of using Google Drive to its fullest extent and being able to use it in your day-to-day work. Now, actually, let's talk about this for just a moment. Why do I put so many things on Google? Well, number one, it's not relying on my hard drive to not die. Number two, I can share things across to different people. Number three, I've got a terabyte worth of space that I can put things into it. There are so many reasons to use this. I fought it when I first saw it, and now that I've been using it for a couple of years, I don't know how one can live without it. It beats doing things like sharing things with Dropbox and Box and things like that. It so beats those tools. I strongly recommend you use it. It's free. It's powerful. It'll do almost everything you need to. And so I suggest you use it. If you're not very good at it, hey, Google around a bit. It's easy to get good at this. All right. So what's your experience in working with Google Drive, working with Google Docs, working with these things? Any other tips that you found that work really well? Let me know down in the comments, and any questions you've got. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.